In this video, we'll look at evaluating exponents. In particular, we'll focus on exponents that have negatives and fractions. Now, I had to redo this question just because there was something wrong with the question, but I hope I fixed it now. Let's try. So let's begin with the first question. It says 16 to the negative half, all to the negative 1, all to the negative half. There are rules for negative exponents and fraction exponents, but the trick here is to notice you've got an exponent on an exponent, power of a power. When you have an exponent on an exponent, you multiply the exponents together. So we're going to keep that 16 and multiply. What's negative a half times negative 1? Well, negative times negative is just positive, so you get positive a half. But you still have this negative half on the outside. So now we've got to use the same rule again. We have 16 to an exponent, exponent on exponent, multiply. What's a half times negative a half? Well, positive times negative gives you negative. And then when you're multiplying fractions, top times top, 1. Bottom times bottom, 2 times 2 is 4. And we've got rid of all those crazy things, made it one nice simple base with an exponent. Okay, now how do you handle negative exponents? When you see a negative exponent, it means take the base, put me under the line. There's a 1 on top, put me under the line, change the exponent sign. Let's review that. Negative exponent means put me under the line, change my exponent sign. Done. Now, when you have a fraction exponent, still all under 1 here, this fractional exponent means the top number, the 1, is the power, and the bottom number, the 4, is the root. So I get the 4th root of 16 to the power of 1. Let's make sure the fraction goes the whole way. The top number became the exponent. The bottom number of the exponent becomes the root. So that's 1 over. Easy to calculate 16 to the power of 1. 16 to the power of 1 is just 16. But we need to be able to do the 4th root on our calculator. The way to do that depends on your calculator a little bit, but mine it's go 4, shift your exponent button, and you get 4th root of 16 equals 2. So the answer to this question is 1 over 2, or 1/2. Okay. Let's look at the next question. You have 11 to the negative 3 over 4 times 11 to the 5/8 all over 11 to the negative 1 over 8. So when you have the same base and you're multiplying the bases, you add the exponents. But one problem, can't add the exponents if their denominators are different. Well, let's leave this second one as 5 over 8. But the first one, 11 over negative 3/4, let's make it out of 8. So what would be equivalent to negative 3/4 out of 8? Well, to get from 4 to 8, you times 2, so times negative 3 also by 2. You get negative 6. Can you see negative 6 over 8 is the same as negative 3/4 as I times top and bottom by 2? Now I have to leave the bottom exponent and fraction alone for a bit. Negative 1 over 8 there. But on the top, now I can add the exponents. Multiplying same base, add the exponents. What's negative 6 over 8 plus 5 over 8? Add them, and just add the numerators. Negative 6 plus 5 gives you negative 1 over 8. All over 11 to the negative 1 over 8. Now, I've got the same base, and I'm dividing. When you're at the same base and you're dividing, you subtract exponents. So you get negative 1 over 8 minus a minus. Again, subtracting the exponents. So take away a minus. Let me write that down here. You have negative 1 over 8 minus negative 1 over 8. Well, that's the same as negative 1 over 8 minus a minus is a plus. So what's negative 1 over 8 plus 1 over 8? 0 over 8, or 0. You get 11 to the power of 0. And you should know from your exponent rules, anything to the power of 0 is 1. Done. So if you understood that, this one should seem easy. 216 to a negative fraction exponent. Start by dealing with the negative. A negative means put me under the line and change just my exponent sign. Now, since I have 2 over 3. The 2 becomes the exponent. The 3 becomes the root. Now I have to calculate that on my calculator. Let's start with the root part. What's the third root of 216? So 3, shift my exponent button, 216, and I get 6. So I can write that down. So I have 6, but still squared here. Remember, this square doesn't go away. I just did this third root part first. The third root of 216 was 6. Now I just have to calculate what's 6 squared. You can maybe do that in your head, and if you can't, that's okay. 6 squared is 36. So the answer is 1 over 36. That's how you evaluate exponents, particularly when there's negatives and fractions.